Hi, this question is from the topic RCS structures and precious concrete. The subtopic is working stress and limit state method. The concept to be known in this, question to answer this, and the concept what they are looking for, and what the paper setter expects, and what they want to test in the student is everything one and same. They want the student to know, how the stress profile and strain profile for a compressive member under combined action of bending and axial force varies when the eccentricity of the loading is varied. And also they want to know not only the concept, what is the corresponding codal provision that is available in IS 456 to answer this question. Fine. The level of difficulty is easy because we will just go through the concept now. It will make everything clear, so we can directly answer the question if at all anything is as related to this. Okay. The student's approach to answer this kind of question is, as I said, they need to know how the stress profile and strain profile for a member under combined action of compressive axial force and bending varies when the eccentricity is changed. Okay. And then it's not a deceptive one. We can directly answer it. The time it takes is, I would say, less than 5 seconds. All students should answer it correctly. Okay. And as such, by a way of elimination, we can directly answer this question. I'll just tell that also anyway. See, we know that as per IS 456 2000, criteria given, only if a section is uniformly stressed. That means if a section is under pure axial compression, the maximum strain it can undergo is 0.002. So option A is ruled out. Okay, this is ruled out. Then option B, if you see, this is something related to our beam. In beam, what is the maximum strain that a steel can undergo is this 0.002 plus Fy by 1.15 ES. So this has nothing to do with a compression member. So we can eliminate B also. If you come to option D, we will skip through C. If you see option D, this is the value what IS 456 2000 prescribes for a bending member under compression. Okay, this is the maximum strain it can undergo. So obviously it can't be A, it can't be D, because option A is purely corresponding to compressive axial force alone. Option D corresponds to only bending, bending compression. Okay, so in that way we can eliminate A, B, D, and we can say answer C. We will also anyway get to know what is the concept behind this. All right. So as per the codal provision given IS 456 2000, you can see this B. Okay, anyway A also is somewhat related to this, but we will just read out B. The maximum compressed strain at highly compressed extreme fiber and concrete subject to axial compression bending when there is no tension on the section shall be 0.0035 minus 0.75 times the strain at the least compressed extreme fiber. That means they are saying if there is no tension across the section when a member is subjected simultaneously to the action of compressive force and bending action is limited to 0.0035 minus 0.75 times epsilon c, because in question they gave it as epsilon c, which is the least compressive strain in the member. So as per this we can directly say C, but we will get to know the concept also. Okay, so this has been actually not stage 1, this should have been case 1 anyway. Here what we are going to do is we take a cross section. We have a cross section of an axial compression member. These green ones are the reinforcements and this black one is nothing but the stirrup. So in case 1 what we are going to do is we are going to, so you see this is nothing but the centroid of our centroid of our cross section. If we apply load through this point, the load acts concentrically and it induces only compression. Okay. Alright, it induces only compression. So each fiber in the section undergoes what? Undergoes compression and it is uniformly stressed here. So the maximum, see as per this codal provision what is given here, the maximum compression in concrete and axial compression technique is 0.02. That's what we see here. Each fiber is strained to this strain value. Okay, the eccentricity is 0 in this case because we are constantly applying the load. and then the corresponding stress value is 0.45 FCK. Okay, where do we get this from? Because we have an idealized concrete stress block from IS 456. Okay, it looks something like this. All right, so something parabolic, and then it becomes, after this point it becomes rectangular, right? So the maximum value here we see in that case is 0.445 FCK. That's what we get from IS 456 2000. So that value is given here. Okay, in the next case what we are going to do is we are going to slightly increase the eccentricity. We are not going to apply the load concentrically. So here you see the centroid of the cross section will be somewhere here, lying here, but we are applying the load with an eccentricity. All right, so here that is appropriately indicated by what? E is not equal to 0. Okay, and we know that there will be a fiber in our section. Usually in case of beam we would have known that well, which is not at all stretched or compressed, which we call as neutral axis. Okay, so in this case our section ends here, so we say the neutral axis should be somewhere outside the section. All right, and you see the strain is 0.0035 at the extreme fiber compression. At an interior fiber which lies just beneath this, there will be a fiber which has a strain value of 0.002. Okay, so the corresponding stress block is shown here. All right, see here, if you carefully observe, what is the maximum compressive strain value the section undergoes is given by 0.0035. Okay, it may be lesser than this also. Now we will see how this formula works here. So this is the formula we have seen, right? So we'll just take the first case. If you take the first case, what is the value? If you take this, what is the strain value? Strain value is 0.002, right? If you substitute that value here, what will happen? 0.75 into 0.002. Let's assume in each case what you are going to see, this fiber is extremely strained. This fiber that corresponds to the bottom is least strain. Okay, if that is the case, the strain value here is 0.002. That's what we mean by least compressive strain. Okay, that when we substitute in this formula, what we get? 0.005 minus 0.75 into 0.002, you will get this as 0.002. That's what we see here, this value. Okay, so this is the maximum strain any fiber can be experiencing in our section. Okay, in case 2, if we substitute a value here, this may be, let's say, 0.001, something like that. If you substitute that, we will get corresponding value of maximum strain the section should undergo. Okay, we will next see a limiting case where what happens, the neutral axis just lies here. Okay, that means you see the section's dimension is d, XU equal to d, that is the depth of neutral axis, nothing but the dimension of the this depth of the section. Okay, here what you see, the extreme fiber compression undergoes a strain value of, experiences a strain value of 0.035. How can we verify this? Using that same formula. Here you see the strain value is 0. Okay, epsilon c is 0 because the least strain in that cross section, this cross section is 0. So if you just substitute this here, this formula we will just put it as 0 here, so this total terms become 0, then it will just give 0.0035. that's what we see here. Okay, 0.0035. so these first three cases, in these first three cases, section is subjected only to compression. All right, that's what we see here. If we keep increasing the eccentricity of the loading, what happens? Something will happen that we will see in the next case, and I will continue here. This is the corresponding stress block. Okay, so at this level we usually know that the stress value becomes 0.45 FCK, and before this it usually is a parabolic one, which has a parabolic variation like this, and then it becomes a rectangular one. That's what is given in IS 456 2000. All right, we are going to see a fourth case where when the eccentricity is increased further, the bending happens in such a way that a part of the section will undergo tension also. Okay, remaining part will undergo compression. All right, so in this case you see the depth of neutral axis here, but the depth of the section is d. Here XU is less than d. Okay, so the fourth case alone, you see, in this case, the section has some part of fibers which undergo tension also. So we can't use this formula for the fourth case alone because they have said no tension is available. I mean, no tension is permitted. Okay, so the formula what here is given is applicable for first three cases. Fine. So the right answer is, as we have seen, it is C. Fine.